Hi everybody, Bill Angelos here with GSA tutorial video number 5. This is the last video in this series, and in this video what I'm going to cover is how you can clean up your old and busted up non-working URLs, remove them so that GSA is not wasting its resources posting to them, and we're also going to talk about doing scraping with Scrapebox. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is, as I said, how to clean up the old non-working URLs. So we go up under the options and we click on the advanced tab and then tools. Now there's two ways we could do some of this. One of them is we could remove the duplicate URLs first, or we could do the cleanup, check and remove non-working. Now the cleanup, the check and remove non-working, does what the remove duplicate URL does and a lot more. So we're going to do that first. Now, because of how extensive all of this is, I would suggest just going ahead and doing a couple at a time. You're not going to want to do the entire list because there's a lot of stuff here. The last time I did this, I had something like 9 million URLs that it went through, and it took a couple days. Now, the reason why you don't want to do it all at once, aside from the fact that it's going to take a couple days, is sometimes GSA is going to lock up. Sometimes your VPS is going to restart. You don't know what's going to happen. It shouldn't happen a whole lot, but you just want to make sure that, you know, if it's going to happen, that you're only going to lose a little bit. So just go through and uncheck all of them, and then go through and then just start checking up the ones that you want to do. This way, it's going to take a lot less time each session, and if you lose something, you're only going to lose a little bit. You're not going to have to restart all the way over. Okay, so the first thing it's going to do is it's going to remove the duplicate URLs. It's not going to remove the duplicate domains, okay, because that would completely remove anything that's on the actual domain. You don't want that. You only want to remove things that are actually on the duplicate URLs, because there's plenty of URLs that will be on a domain. There could be, 50 pages of good places to post links on an actual domain. So you don't want to lose all those pages by removing the duplicate domains. So this is going to take a while. It says it's going to take 1,465 seconds. It could take more than that. It could take less than that. It's not a real big deal. It is going to take a few minutes, though. And once it gets to about 30%, it'll really pick up the speed. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll pick up when it gets done. Okay. It just finished up with the removing the duplicate URLs. And now we're just waiting for it to pick up. Here it is. It is now going through and checking for good and bad URLs. And now it's going to do this until it runs through everything that we've built a link to. It's going to go through and just clean it out so that all the bad URLs that are no longer available, it's going to remove it from the list. And that way, again, your GSA is not going to spend its resources trying to build links on URLs that are not there. So I recommend that you do this at least once a month. If you can do it more often than that, great. It is going to lower your links per minute. It is going to mean that you're going to be building less links in the short term while it's running. But again, long term, overall, it's going to definitely improve the amount of links that you're able to build, because again, it's not trying to build links to sites that aren't there. So this has been the first thing I wanted to talk about. So the next part I wanted to talk about was Scrapebox and how you can use it to scrape new target sites that you can use with your projects. Because eventually what you have is all going to be just run over with comments and spam from other people as well as yourself. And you can't just keep using the same list over and over and over. So you need to keep expanding your list. So in another video, I showed you how you can go ahead and search for other URLs. And this is the slow way that you can do it. You can import your keywords, and you can use the predefined footprint list. And this is what GSA is going to use with its own internal scraper. And this is a lot slower than something like Scrapebox or GScraper would be. So we're not going to go ahead and we're not going to import any keywords, but we are going to use the predefined footprints, because this tells you what GSA needs to be able to post to a site. So we're going to use Wiki as our example, and then you can pick your favorite wiki engine, or you can do all. And I think if you're going to do anything, you should probably do all. Now what you need to do here is you need to put this into a text file. So we're just going to copy it, put it in a text file, and then we're going to save it. Okay, so we don't need this anymore. This is done. Now I'm going to bring up Scrapebox. So what you need for this is you're going to need a list of proxies. You're going to need some keywords, and they can be for whatever keywords you want to do. For this one, I'm just going to make them up. Okay, so dog training and football, two completely unrelated things. If you're going to do this, you're probably going to want to do it where you're consistent, you're in the same niche for the whole thing. Okay, now what I'll do up here is I'll click on the merge button, and then we're going to use that footprints file that we just created. And now everything is dog training football with the different footprints. So everything in here that we're going to use to scrape with is going to be all right in here, and it's going to go ahead and it's going to make a file with this information in it for us. So right now we're just scraping. I've got my connection set to 25 through Google, and it's going to go ahead and just scrape and scrape away until it exhausts its search. I don't recommend you do a whole lot of connections at once, unless you're doing this from your VPS and you have a lot of proxies. I'm only using 30 proxies for this. It can burn out your proxies kind of fast. So personal preference, I limit my connections just to keep my proxies working better longer. So right now we're approaching 10,000, and you can get several 100,000 easy. You can get 1 million. It all depends on how big of a footprint you're using and how many keywords you're going after. So we don't need to keep going with this. These are not keywords that I'm going to be after. So what's going on here is, all right, we have our list right here of 13,500 URLs. These are all the wikis that we went after. But Scrapebox only holds 1 million URLs. So what happens if we get more than 1 million URLs? Well, then we have to go into the actual Scrapebox where we have it installed at. And we have to look at a folder called the Harvester Sessions. So it's Scrapebox Harvester Sessions, and then it'll be sorted by date. These are all from last year. So here we find it right here. This is our file that we just created with the 13,500. Okay, so that was pretty simple. And as I showed you in a previous video how to import, I'll do that again real quick just as a reference for people. Okay, and what we're going to do with our new test project is we're just going to right click on it, import target URLs from a file. We're going to go to where it is on our VPS here, and it is the batch, the one that we just created with Scrapebox. And we're going to randomize the list, and our 13,000 URLs have been added. Now, what else we need to do to make this work is we need to open up the project, and we need to change what it used to post with. Okay, so once we have the project open, we're going to go ahead and go to the Options tab. And suddenly everything is just slowing down on my VPS here. Here we go. We're going to drop it down just a little bit to the mid page. And we're going to uncheck the Use URLs from the global site list. We do not want to use the identified or the verified, because what we've done is we've enabled the use of the imported URLs. So now it's telling me that no engine was chosen. So this is fine. This is to be expected because, again, we did import the list, so we're not going to use any of the verified or the identified. So this is fine. So now what this is going to do is it's going to go through the list of the wikis that we just scraped, and it's going to try and post to them. And again, we just scraped 13,000 in maybe a minute with Scrapebox. 13,000 with GSA scraping is probably going to take a couple hours, just to show you the time difference. You can literally come up with several orders of magnitude difference in results. So I would hands down suggest using Scrapebox to scrape for new targets than using GSA, especially if it's on a different computer. If you can use it on a different computer where you're not slowing GSA down at all, do that. Hands down, much better thing to do. So that's the end of the 5th video in the series. So I hope you guys learned a lot. I'm going to do a follow-up final 6th video where I'm going to go over a little bit further optimizing things you can do to keep your links per minute up, keep building links fast, things you can do if your links are not coming in as fast as you'd like. So we'll see you in the 6th video. Thank you for watching.